In just a few weeks, Solo: A Star Wars Story will be in theaters, and a lot of the talk for the past several months, if not longer, has been mostly negative. There's been a lot of negative publicity about this movie, a lot of talk amongst the movie industry that Disney has no faith in it. There's talk that the movie's a complete mess, that there's bad acting. So this is one of the few Star Wars films that I can remember that's been getting tons of negative pub before it even comes out. Even Last Jedi, a movie that was really split down the middle amongst many people, never got this much, flack, I guess. And there's been obvious reasons why. So I wanted to do a video looking at the other side of the coin, because at the end of the day, until we actually see this movie, we're not going to really know if it's that bad or if it's maybe not that bad or maybe even a good movie. With Last Jedi, I think that a lot of Star Wars fans felt very upset and disenfranchised with the franchise. That wasn't meant to be a pun, but it wound up being one in a weird way. I guess it sort of is. But, a lot of people have been saying that Solo pretty much has to be at least a decent movie to bring those fans back. And there's fear that, if you have two really bad Star Wars movies coming out back to back, it could devastate, the fandom. Now, of course, I really don't like Last Jedi. I watched it again recently, and I actually dislike it even more. But that being said, I'm not going to let my dislike of Last Jedi prejudge this film, because we also heard bad things about, Wonder Woman, and that turned out to be a pretty good movie as far as the behind the scenes go. So at the end of the day, the editing room can really save a film. So what I want to do is I want to give you guys on this video 5 reasons as to why Solo: A Star Wars Story may actually end up being a good movie. And honestly, I hope that it is a good movie, because more bad movies is not what I want. I know a lot of Star Wars fans are actually hoping that it does tank. That way Kathleen Kennedy gets removed from her position. That's what I've seen a lot of people say on the internet. First of all, there's no guarantee that's going to happen. Second of all, we don't know how much she actually is at fault for some of the problems they've had lately. It's possible she is, but we really aren't there. So I just am hoping for a good movie, even though it may not be good. So the first reason that it might be a good movie, and again, we're doing these in no particular order, is Donald Glover playing Lando. Now, I know that very few, if any, can match Billy D. Williams' charisma. And he really carried that Lando role in Empire and in Jedi. Having Donald Glover be there, I trust Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, if you will. He's a great actor, and even though the timeline of the film might be a little wonky, I think that he could be a pretty decent young Lando if they do it right. I mean, he definitely looks the part, and I think that the costuming seems to be accurate on the trailers. I think we can look forward to him portraying Lando being a good thing in this movie. Second thing I want to discuss about the 5 reasons why Solo might actually be a good movie is Chewie's in it. Now, it's really hard to screw up Chewie. Obviously, in Last Jedi, he didn't even do much, except fly the Falcon and eat some pork, over the barbecue. He didn't even eat it. He had second thoughts, which is weird because the pork was already dead. But Chewie being, in the middle of the action, hopefully with some crossbow action, hopefully, being there doing some funny stuff, some cool stuff, I think could be a real highlight of the film. Again, it's very hard to screw Chewie up. It's very, very hard to do it. And even though we may not see the backstory of Chewie and Han entirely, we may get a lot of their friendship sort of evolving in this film, and I do look forward to seeing that. So Chewbacca is a great reason as to why Solo might be a fun time. The third thing that I think could make this movie is that we may see the other side of the Empire. Now, obviously, the Empire is never a good thing. It's a dictatorship. It pretty much enslaved the entire galaxy. But the idea that so much of the galaxy doesn't really even understand or know just how evil Darth Sidious is, or even know that Darth Sidious is the Emperor, right? I like the idea that there are people who are Imperial sympathizers that want to join the Imperial military. And based on the first couple of teasers we got for the film, that seems to be a plot point. I like that idea that some folks aren't really bad people. Like, not everybody who wears a stormtrooper uniform or who flies a TIE fighter is a bad person. A lot of them are just doing their jobs. And I like the whole common man working for the Empire thing. If you're an Imperial soldier or an Imperial, I guess, engineer or whatever your job is, you just want to make money so you can feed your family, right? That's all you want. And I like the concept of that. They kind of sort of did it with Finn in Force Awakens, kind of being sympathetic to the First Order, but I mean even more so, like how they've done in the TV series. I like seeing that side of things, and I think they could really have some interesting storytelling where people think the Empire's a good thing, and that could be a cool idea. Also, number two is, well, number two or number four, there's no order with these, is the new yet familiar locations in the Star Wars universe that we're going to see in this movie. We've never seen like a full sort of view of the spice mines of Kessel. We've never seen that before. And we've never really seen Corellia, at least in movie form. And it's going to be interesting to see that on the big screen. You know, one of the things about Last Jedi that was criticized, that the film felt a bit claustrophobic. Like, there really wasn't that many new planets and worlds to visit. It was Canto Bight and Crait, and we only saw the one, like, casino area of Canto Bight, and we saw, like, you know, the Crait stuff was a deserted base anyway, so it wasn't like it was new stuff. So I think that people are looking forward to kind of exploring and expanding the galaxy. And the reason why I say new old stuff is because, you know, things like Canto Bight and Crait were created like recently, but like, you know, as far as like by Lucasfilm, there are new creations of new planets. Whereas with Corellia and with the Kessel, with the Spice Mines of Kessel, well, Kessel overall, we've heard about this in universe. This is things that we've heard about in the old trilogy, and now they're finally going to give us a view of what it actually looks like. So, I mean, I think that's very exciting to see, and I do hope that the film really does, you know, open up and really show us more of a different side of the galaxy that we have not seen yet. And the last and probably most important reason as to why this film could actually end up being a good movie is it's kind of a double thing. Number one, it's written by Lawrence Kasdan, who knows Han Solo's character very well, so that's got that going for it. And number two, Ron Howard is directing. Now, obviously, a lot of people have been critical of Ron Howard throughout the years. He definitely does not have a flawless record as a director, but, you know, this guy has so many amazing films under his resume, like Cocoon, like Beautiful Mind, Frost Nixon. I mean, the guy knows how to make a movie, and there was talk of Ron Howard directing a Star Wars movie ages ago. George Lucas and Ron Howard have worked together before. If you remember, Willow was a big film that Ron Howard did. He was the director, but it's like a George Lucas story pretty much. You know, so he's familiar with sort of how George Lucas thinks and the Star Wars universe. So having him come on board and direct, I don't think it's a bad thing. I really don't. No disrespect to Lord and Miller, because they shot most of the film and they are good at what they do, but I never thought that Lord and Miller really fit with the Star Wars universe, and I think Ron Howard, just purely even based on experience alone, there's just a much better chance that Ron Howard can make a good film. But of course, when it comes to this movie, he's taking stuff that was already shot. He's, you know, they did reshoots, of course, but he has to put this thing together and make it an entertaining movie and make it a movie that's going to have people coming back to the movie theater over and over and over again. And, you know, I think he can do it, but that to me, you know, it remains to be seen as far as will he do it, but he can do it. He definitely has the chops to do it. I mean, this guy's been directing films since 1969, right? That's a long time. So what do you think? Do you have any other reasons as to why you think this film might actually end up being good? Again, I should have mentioned more about Lawrence Kasdan. You know, he also wrote Empire and Jedi, and Force Awakens, so we know he's a qualified writer. So having him write a story about Han Solo, I think fits, and hopefully, you know, Ron Howard can do it. So what do you think? Again, like I was saying a minute ago, do you think that Solo could be good? We've heard a lot of negativity. There's been some stuff on Reddit where they're saying that, oh, when you actually see the film, it's really not that bad. There are some problems, but it did get better. It's a fun movie. So I really do hope that we get, you know, a good movie. I really hope that we get a good Star Wars movie, because, you know, I'm noticing people nowadays are just now seeing Last Jedi, and it's not getting a lot of love, and we all know why. But I think that we need like a really good kick-ass Star Wars movie to remind us that they can still do it. Some people don't even like Rogue One or Force Awakens, in which case they're 0 for 3 for some. It depends on your opinion. Leave a comment down below about your opinion, and then we'll go from there. and I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say, because I do feel like I missed something here. I only gave 5 reasons to why it could be good. I might do 5 reasons to why it could be bad as well in the future. Let me know in the comments if you want to see that video. But anyways, thank you so much. Subscribe if you have not subscribed yet, and hit the notification bell because YouTube's being weird. I thank you. I hope you have a great day, and make sure you take care of yourself and each other.